Do you feel it, my friend? That subtle yet persistent stirring deep within, like a quiet whisper in the chambers of your soul, telling you that you're meant for something more, something different than the daily grind you might find yourself caught in? Have you ever stood on the threshold of a new life, made a profound decision, felt ready to take that leap, and then suddenly it's like an invisible wall shoots up right in front of you? You're filled with the resolve to break free from the chains of your past, from those habits and fears that have held you captive for so long, and you start your journey, but something feels off. It's as if the universe itself is testing your mettle, as if some unseen adversary is reluctant to release you from its grip. Does that gnawing feeling resonate with you when those first steps toward the light turn into new, even more cunning challenges? We often think that simply recognizing the problem, making a decision, is enough, that transformation will just happen effortlessly, like magic. We expect that once we turn off the path of self-sabotage and onto the road of creation, we'll be met with trumpets and rose petals. But here's the paradox, my friend. It's precisely when you truly desire change, when you say no to the old you and yes to the new, that the real battle begins. Not an external one, not with anyone else, but the internal one, the most crucial battle of all, the battle for your soul, for your authentic self. And this unseen adversary, this guardian of your old limitations, it doesn't sleep. It merely changes tactics, but its goal remains the same: to knock you off course, to make you doubt, to pull you back into the familiar, albeit suffocating, swamp of your comfort zone. Ancient sages spoke of the spiritual warrior being assailed from all sides. Picture this. You're standing in the center and arrows are flying at you. Arrows from above. These are the temptations of unsustainable efforts. The perfectionism that whispers, you have to be perfect right now. You must reach enlightenment in a week. And if you give in, you take on an unbearable load, burn out, and end up disillusioned with the path itself. Arrows from below. This is the voice of laziness, self-pity, apathy. Why bother? It's good enough. Take a break. You're tired. This is too hard. And if you listen, you slow your pace and then stop altogether, allowing the weeds of old habits to choke the tender shoots of the new. Arrows from the right. These are the traps disguised as good intentions. You start doing something positive, helping others, growing, and immediately the temptation of pride, vanity, the desire for recognition arises. Your good deed becomes fertile ground for a new fall. Arrows from the left, and these are the overt temptations, old addictions that suddenly seem especially alluring, promising quick, albeit illusory, comfort. Arrows from the front, these are anxieties about the future, fears of, what if it doesn't work out? Зрение, что если я допущу ошибку? Зрение, which paralyze your will and prevent you from moving forward. And finally, arrows from behind. These are the ghosts of the past. Regrets, resentments, guilt that drag you backward, forcing you to relive what should have long been released. And all these attacks, all these tempting thoughts, they seep into your consciousness either from within, through images your imagination conjures, through sudden emotional outbursts, passionate desires you thought you'd conquered, or from without, through what you see, hear, through people who, sometimes unknowingly, pull you back. And the chief allies of this inner saboteur are your own ingrained habits, those neural pathways in your brain that have been reinforced for years, and that very part of your self that fears change, fears the unknown, even if that unknown promises freedom and happiness. This inner guardian, it isn't fazed by initial setbacks. It tries one thing, then another, then a third, relentlessly attempting to bring you back under its control. And right here, my friend, lies a profound truth, one not obvious to the everyday mind. The very first thing this inner saboteur tries to do when you decide to walk the path of light is to isolate you, to cut you off from wisdom, from support, from those who could be your guides. It whispers the thought, you can do this yourself. You don't need advice. You know it all already. And as soon as you succumb to this whisper, you deprive yourself of the most powerful tool, an outside perspective, the experience of those who have already walked this path. Imagine a traveler in a dense forest. If they have an experienced guide, they'll easily bypass swamps and ravines. But if they decide to go it alone, relying only on their intuition, they might wander for a long time, fall into traps, and perhaps never reach their destination. It's the same in the spiritual search, on the path of personal growth. A mentor, whether a wise friend, a therapist, a spiritual teacher, or even just a book written from the heart, is your compass and your map. The one who checks their path against such guidance, who is open to advice, becomes invulnerable to many of the saboteur's schemes. Any of its cunning suggestions will be recognized, any trap disarmed. But the one who turns away from help, who locks themselves in the pride of, "I'll do it myself," risks getting spun around in illusions and straying onto a false path that seems so attractive and right at first glance. The second thing this inner guardian sets up is not only to strip you of guidance, but also to leave you without support, including the support of your own soul, your higher self. The person who has decided to do without advice soon comes to believe they don't need inner help either. And here the saboteur employs a clever trick. It quiets down, it stops attacking you overtly, and you, feeling this sudden ease, this false peace, begin to think, "Look at me go. This is all my doing. I'm so strong, so aware." You start attributing all successes to yourself, to your will, to your genius. And in that moment, you stop truly asking for help from your inner source of wisdom, from the universe, from the power that guides you. Your appeals become a formality, words without soul, because deep down, you've already bought into your own self-sufficiency, and help that isn't sought doesn't arrive. And so, you're left alone with your limited strength, lacking access to the boundless potential hidden within you. And such a self-reliant, isolated warrior is much easier for the inner saboteur to handle. And what are the consequences of this self-deception, this subtle self-flattery? For some, it means throwing themselves into excessive, unsustainable practices. Self-assuredness fuels their energy, and for a while they manage to maintain this frantic pace. They meditate for hours, take on numerous austerities, work themselves to the bone on their projects, forgetting sleep and rest. But human strength is not limitless, and soon exhaustion sets in, physical, emotional, spiritual. And then they no longer have the strength even for the most moderate but regular practices. They burn out and often abandon the path altogether, disillusioned and depleted. Others, conversely, by fanning this false sense of self-reliance, reach such overconfidence that they begin to believe anything is possible for them. In this agitated, almost manic state, they make truly destructive moves, rushing to extremes that seem to them a manifestation of special spiritual power or courage. Someone decides they no longer need food, another performs reckless acts, risking health or life, firmly believing that higher powers will protect them. And all this, the inner saboteur arranges so subtly that the victim of this self-deception remains convinced of their rightness and chosenness until the very end. For yet others, self-deception and crediting all successes to themselves leads to a different extreme. They start giving themselves all sorts of breaks and indulgences. You know, there's an effect. When you start something new, especially if it involves overcoming yourself, stepping out of your comfort zone, time seems to compress. A week feels like a month, and a month like a year. So you've worked a little on your new path, given up a bad habit for a couple of weeks, started exercising, and right away that inner voice whispers, "Well done, you. Look how much you've accomplished. You've worked so hard. You can relax a bit, reward yourself." And as soon as you agree to this little bit, one indulgence leads to another, then a third. And soon all your good intentions are derailed, all new routines are broken, and you imperceptibly slide back into the very life you were trying to escape, once again sinking into apathy and inaction, letting things slide. And understand this, my friend, these temptations, to shun advice, to credit yourself with successes, to rush into extremes, or, conversely, to give yourself excessive breaks, these are not just for beginners. The inner saboteur will try to pull these tricks throughout your entire journey, at every stage. That's why it's so vital to develop an antidote, your own strategy of light. So what can you do? How can you counter these subtle traps? Here are a few principles that will help you stay on course. The first step in your primary shield. Never operate in the dark, relying solely on your own understanding, however sincere it may be. Seek wisdom. Everything you do, especially on the path of deep inner change, check with the advice of those you trust who possess experience and knowledge. This could be a mentor, a therapist, a wise friend, or even the profound writings of sages and mystics of the past. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be ashamed of your inexperience. Openness to guidance is a sign not of weakness, but of maturity and wisdom. The second principle, your unshakable foundation. Never under any circumstances attribute your successes, even the smallest ones, solely to yourself, your strength, your diligence. Cultivate gratitude. Gratitude to the universe, to God, to life, to the people who helped, to the circumstances that aligned. Remember that you are part of a vast interconnected whole. Your efforts are important, but they are always connected to something larger. This humble gratitude will protect you from pride, the most dangerous trap on the spiritual path. The third key to sustainable transformation. Avoid extremes like the plague. Don't throw yourself into unsustainable efforts that will deplete you, but also don't allow yourself to slide into laziness and self-indulgence. Seek your golden mean, your rhythm. Your life on the path of self-development should be steady, consistent, yet energetic and alive. Create supportive rituals for yourself, healthy habits based on timeless wisdom and the advice of experienced contemporaries, and stick to them with love and perseverance, but without fanaticism. Let it be daily meditation, reading inspiring literature, physical exercise, time for silence and self-reflection. The key is consistency and mindfulness. You might ask, but what if I mess up? What if I fall for the saboteur's tricks again? And that's perfectly normal. The path of transformation isn't a smooth highway. It's more like a winding mountain trail. There will be setbacks, doubts, and moments of despair. What matters is not that you fell, but that you found the strength within yourself to get up, dust yourself off, and continue the journey, having learned from your experience. Every trial, every arrow, is not a punishment, but an opportunity to become stronger, wiser, more aware. Don't be afraid of this inner adversary, for in truth it's merely the shadow of your own light, a distorted reflection of your power. By acknowledging its existence, by studying its tactics, you strip it of its power over you. You begin to see its games, and they cease to ensnare you. So, begin today, my friend. Ask yourself, where am I trying to go it alone, afraid to ask for help or advice? What successes have I unduly credited only to myself, forgetting gratitude? Am I swinging between extremes, either excessive effort or complete complacency? What small, consistent steps can I take to make my life more balanced, mindful, and fulfilling? Remember, you are not alone in this inner journey. Limitless wisdom and strength lie hidden within you. Your potential is waiting to be unleashed, and every step taken with mindfulness and love brings you closer to your true self, to the life you were born to live. May your path be luminous, and may wisdom guide your every step. You are capable of this. I believe in you.